Good morning, everyone. My name is Saipon Vallapaneni. I am working here at doTERRA as a SAP Basis Administrator. And today I have with me Harmantrao Kaburi, SAP Engineering Manager. We both work closely. Our teams work on the SAP infrastructure, provisioning, operations, and integration pieces. So part of today's discussion will be covering how we are currently running our SAP Commerce, which is Hybris, SAP Hybris on Kubernetes on the AWS infrastructure, and Hanu will be covering few pieces of SAP integration relating to our ongoing efforts to improvise things at doTERRA. So this is a rough a gist of things which we plan to cover in today's session. So we'll go over these one by one. For doTERRA, they started the journey way back in 2008. Um, the main mission for doTERRA and the core principles is centered around enhancing people's life by sharing the power and benefits of essential oils and other related products with regards to essential oils, including in the product categories which they have. Also, some of the products and oils here at doTERRA are certified pure therapeutic grade, which are used in certain clinical centers as well. So uh, doTERRA is clocking like a 2 billion revenue on an annual basis, and we have about 2,500 employees overall. And for doTERRA procures and operates oils from various regions around the world and have customers in 30 plus countries. So this includes all different kind of markets. The major markets being US, Canada, and Brazil. Um, so when doTERRA initially started off with SAP systems, we had a rollout in 2016 where we had our systems hosted in a private cloud environment with one of our previous partners. So it was successful implementation, but then over the years, when we were running applications on the private cloud, we ran into a few challenges like uh, the database that we here use at doTERRA are mostly based on SAP HANA and SAP HANA systems. These are in-memory devices which are pretty huge. So we couldn't like scale them up pretty quickly. So what we had to do was to kind of have uh, the databases already at a full capacity, even when the load was not at the peak. So we always had additional capacity running, and we had to kind of pay for those additional usage, even though uh, the traffic from a user perspective or a customer perspective is not that heavy. So that was a kind of a downside. Yeah, and when it comes to the application layer as well, the provisioning and handling additional apps during peak times when there are promotional activities on doTERRA's website for any buy one get one kind of events, or when or any limited time offer kind of events. So those used to be some of the pain points where even at the app layer we kind of had to provision a couple of weeks in advance, prepare all those additional servers so that they kind of handle the peak load during the BOGO events or the LTO events. And sometimes during this preparation, because of the manual events and activities, there used to be some human errors which kind of led to some subsequent consequences during the peak load events. So there is also a concern when we were using the private cloud over east-west traffic within the private cloud because there was not a dedicated connectivity to separate out the traffic between dev environment, QA environment, and production environment. So that was one of the other pain points which we had to isolate traffic between each of the environments that we had. Also, during production outages or whenever we had to do some recoveries, the overall recovery times with the private cloud partner was very high. Also, they didn't have a good high availability setup for a disaster recovery based off a secondary region. So these were some of the challenges that we kind of ran into with our previous partner. So that's when we kind of, as an organization, were looking into which public cloud options would be better for us. We kind of evaluated several cloud options with various vendors, and then we finally kind of boiled down onto AWS as their the kind of uh, ha the ones which had uh, greatest and latest features, and which they were like the leading cloud providers. So that's the reason why we kind of got into AWS. So this definitely helped us with the overall uh, uh, SAP systems, the way we ran them previously in the private cloud versus how we are running them in AWS public cloud. There's a huge shift for us in terms of the operations, uh, because when we migrated, we kind of split the monolith application, and then we kind of made it into a Kubernetes compatible uh, process. So that way, when we scale, it is very easier to kind of scale the pods for any high traffic days or BOGO events. So that kind of really helped us to prepare, and we didn't have to kind of spend weeks or days to kind of provision and get them ready. Also, with the switch to AWS public cloud, we kind of started using blue-green deployment via Helm. So this also reduced the deployment times, the regular deployment times, and also deployments during the BOGO times significantly for us. uh, so that's one of the key advantages that we got after migrating to AWS. And also, with landing zones and control tower features in AWS, we could kind of create sub accounts for each of the environments that we had. So that kind of helped isolate the traffic and helped us, securely each environment to securely communicate within the specific systems belonging to that particular environment. Um, and Also, when it comes to the recoveries, so we had a couple of issues in the past when we moved to AWS, where because of patching activity with Red Hat, I think we kind of had to roll back. So because of the AMI snapshots that is available in the AWS Backup Vault service, we were able to quickly use the AMS snapshots from a previous point and do the recovery automatically, and then get back live, so that the impact to the business operations is reduced. So these are some of the advantages which we kind of seen working on AWS over the past 3 years that we migrated. Um, and coming to an architecture standpoint, so this is how the high level architecture for SAP Commerce is here at doTERRA. So users route through AWS Route 53 DNS resolution, which then directs to the Imperva. And then Imperva, we have used AWS NLB service to kind of distribute the load traffic that's coming from Imperva. So this is the CDN that we are using. And then the traffic further percolates into F5 and then into the SAP Commerce on EKS. Also on subsequent layers, we have SAP PO integration system and SAP S4 HANA system for backend fulfillment and integrations. And SAP PO integration system further uses several other AWS services as well. Here we are depicting S3 bucket and SFTP, which kind of integrates into Shopify and Manhattan. And Hanu will, at a later point in time, talk further on these integration pieces further. And so historically, when we were on the private cloud, we kind of had a manual deployment process where we had to drain um, the some of the nodes which had the customer traffic, wait for a while until the customer traffic is reduced, and then deploy to those drained nodes. And we used to kind of flip the cycle around all the node available nodes in the load balancer. So that's how we used to deploy a newer version of the build into the production systems. So that was kind of a cumbersome activity because every time we kind of had to wait, um, sometimes few minutes to an hour, to kind of make sure that the nodes that are trained doesn't have any customer activity that is happening, and then deploy the new build onto it. And cycling through each of those nodes usually sometimes used to take from couple of hours to 4 5 hours as well. So the deployment times were quite longer. So what we did with AWS migration is that uh, so we started using Helm and a Blue Green deployment process. So SAP Commerce inbuilt has something called as a type system. It's a feature that comes in Hybris. What this type system does is essentially it defines attributes, data types, and packages them into a relationship model. So whenever assume we are currently customers are live on blue colored pods, for example. So when we want to roll out a build onto the green set of pods, what we essentially do is Hybris creates a type system which is containing a newer version of the table relationships, data types, and any new attributes. So the version gets deployed. So the code that gets deployed now starts using the newer type system that has the new association of the attributes, data types, and the relationship between them. So once the new build gets deployed onto the green set of pods, we then have our business analyst connect to these green set of pods, and then test end to end the new release on these green pods. And once they certify with the release management that the new code on the green pods are good, we then flip the pods so that instead of the blue pods, now the FI starts routing traffic to the green set of pods. So uh, our overall deployment times were earlier used to take about few hours, depending on the number of app nodes that we had. Now that with Kubernetes, now that time has come down significantly to like 30 40 minutes, which is a big advantage for us because earlier we used to just have one release cycle in a given week. Like every Thursday, we have to have a release cycle. But with this approach where the deployments are faster, in a given week, we are able to deploy more than 2 3 times. And this helps also address any hot fixes that we need to put into the production to kind of immediately address any bug fix kind of scenarios. So this is how I think from an EKS standpoint, moving to AWS and using the new Helm deploy process really helped us take advantage of things in AWS public cloud. Yeah, I think now we'll then continue with the integration piece that we talked about. So Hanu will be taking this over from here.
Thank you, Sai. I'm going to talk about how we have leveraged SAP integration platform with our AWS components. So SAP integration, SAP PIPO is been deployed as an EC2 instances on AWS space, along with our commerce cloud, e-commerce systems and S4 HANA. And also we have several BI systems and other components which we have installed on our AWS space. So we added our S3 Amazon S3 bucket and SFTP service for our connecting to our external systems. Like Shopify is one of the retail lightweight commerce application, which we have been using for our um, swag items sales for all of our presidential and diamond customers. Some of our customers would like to purchase the swag items through Shopify. So all the SAP commerce orders we have been fulfilling through our S4 HANA, and we are sending them through to WMS Manhattan application, where Manhattan of WMS is our fulfillment tiers, where we have doTERRA owned Manhattan WMS applications. We have been fulfilling all of our oils and products and all the customer orders. Along with that, Shopify, we have recently live with Shopify implementation with our S3 bucket features we added. So Shopify is it used to be integrated with an external third-party logistics system where we have to end up paying a lot of money, like almost $1 million for an year. And with this integration, new integration where Shopify is able to drop the orders into Amazon S3 SFTP servers. So the SAP PO middleware system was able to send those orders easily to Manhattan, our doTERRA owned fulfillment center. That way we have saved almost like a $500,000 on the fulfillment area. So that is huge cost saving for this year. Already we have implemented in Q1 of this year. So I'm going to depict the SAP integration, couple of examples, what kind of integrations we have implemented here on AWS space. So yeah, coming to talking about SAP PO. SAP PO is our integration platform where it can be connecting seamlessly and having robust integration capabilities with security and compliances followed. So yeah, so how SAP PO has used Amazon S3 is like S3 we have been used as a staging and archival layer. Like we also have our SAP S4 HANA data archival process, which we have been archiving the data into S3 bucket. And also we are using S3 SFTP services for integrating through our external third-party logistics systems and other external vendors. So yeah, these are the two types of key authentication processes. We can be able to connect with SSH feature, and also we can use the password user basic authentication for our SAP PO system. And the main features what we used is like it can be used for the large payloads, and we can uh, process the asynchronous mode, and which saves like huge payloads like the inventory snapshots, huge orders like bulk orders can be processed through S3 bucket easily. Yeah. So how we used AWS transfer SF for SFTV is like we have used because it has high availability and built-in features, like we can scale them, and also we have the uh, recycle processes, and also it is following the global data protection laws, and it is more secure, and SAP integration system is easily able to connect with the SFTP protocols. Yeah, coming to security and scalability, yes, it is encrypted data with our um, key important integrations like the customer data. And also we have used IAM roles and policies for secure accesses. And also we use the life cycle rules for cleaning up the bucket and reducing the sizes of the tables. And also we have used the scalable design processes like the Black Friday and Cyber Monday kind of scenarios. Like we have BOGO sales and promotional events on Shopify and SAP Commerce Days. So where we get peak load into S3, we have been using these uh, as a auto scale processes. And I would like to give few examples like how SAP PO integration flow works with S3 bucket. Like we used to send the daily inventory snapshot from our Manhattan WMS system, like inventory on hand at each fulfillment facilities. So the data we are processing to Amazon S3 bucket, and from there we have SAP PO processes to our SAP ERP system called S4 HANA. Also the customer sales orders, which we are getting it from Shopify. We are getting into S3 bucket, and from S3 bucket, we can able to process them to Manhattan WMS for fulfilling and shipping the orders to our customers. These are the few examples how we have leveraged S3 and SFTP services on AWS. Would like to comment. Yeah. The conclusion, yeah, we are able to seamlessly transfer files through S3 bucket and at AWS SFTP service, and also integration with external parties like Shopify, 3PLs, and our vendor integrations and external systems. It was easy and more secure and processed compliance, and also it is a cost effective and scalable, and we have used all the standard processes of what AWS has provided. And yeah, that's all. Thank you, guys.